Hey guys, Void here, and today I will be showing you how to use magic for Nex solos. But before we get into that, I need to give a fair few disclaimers and warnings here before all the comments arrive. No, this video is not a solo AOD video. I've never done solo AOD. I don't know how to do solo AOD. It's very much out of my capabilities. This guide is not for people who are already capable of doing Nex or have best in slot range gear, whatever. They already know how to tackle Blood Phase or want to learn Festivals, whatever. It's for people who don't care about efficiency and want to use magic at Nex for whatever reason. Be it that it's their best DPS style, or it's just the style they have the best gear for, whatever. Magic at Nex is actually very slow in my experiences, and while I'm sure the kill times can be optimized further beyond what I typically get, they're still guaranteed to be slower than camping any other style due to the nature of Nex's minions being immune to magic attacks, and you're required to bring multiple styles to do this. As well as not being recommended for most players, magic is the style that is most likely to get you killed, because if she puts up deflect magic at any point during the kill, you're going to take pretty much all of the damage that you would have dealt to her, and depending on what she used, it'll kill you. She's not going to take any damage, you are. So in the event that that happens, you need a second style anyways to deal damage to her. And during Blood Phase, that's especially problematic because you need to be on the Maniacal Aura, so if you're not, then you're kind of shit out of luck. With all that said, let's move past the disclaimers and right to the setup. So the bare minimum you'll want to start solo Nex with magic is Greater Concentrated Blast and at least dual wield Psywears for the tier 90 accuracy. Without those, it's still possible, but it's going to be an absolute shit show. You will require at minimum normal overloads to prevent the inevitable stat draining she does, and at least 43 prayer for overhead prayers, but preferably at least 95 to use Torment or, whatever. If you have 99 prayer, you have Affliction, you should be using that instead. Very good things to have are the passive Ring of Vigor, the Tool Belt Infernal Puzzle Box, an Essence of Finality with the Guthic Staff spec, a Ring of Death, or a Channeler's Ring, or some other ring with stat buffs that doesn't remove accuracy, the Scripture of Full, or an Illuminated Armadyl book, Vulnerability Bombs, a Max or Kiln Cape, or an Igneous Magic Cape or Zook Cape, runes for either Exsanguinate or Insight Fear, or maybe both if you're one of those people, runes for Smoke Cloud if you have rune pouches, a range or melee weapon, Pernix's Quiver if you're using range instead of melee for minions, or a Decimation to totally avoid the need for ammo, and either full War Priest or Superior Elite Void, or refined Animacore of Sliske armor for hybriding, or full sets of armor for the styles that you're planning to hybrid with. You have a buffed Inquisitor staff and or the Fractured Staff of Armadyl. Those would also benefit you quite a lot. For this guide, I'm going to be assuming that you have the bare minimum of at least hybrid armor, extinction, rune pouches, an illuminated Armadyl book, and tier 95 curses, as this is what I typically use. And I will be talking about phase 1, 3, and 5, both with and without the Fractured Staff of Armadyl, as I have experience with doing Nex both with and without. Okay, so starting at War's Retreat, grab a Bonfire boost, as the health bonus will be really helpful for you. Build up to at least 100% adrenaline, and maintain that going into the arena. You don't want to start a private instance because she will always pray deflect magic in those, and that's really bad because that's the easiest way to get killed. Before you enter the instance, or while she's spawning, drink a dose of Elder Overload, turn on the Maniacal Aura, and turn on Deflect Magic, Torment, and Protect Item in case you die. If you don't do all this stuff, you're going to have a really rough time with accuracy because she has extremely high defenses because she was made back in 2011. And at the time, Jagex didn't figure out that the more you splash, the less damage you do and all that stuff. So if you have a Fractured Staff of Armadyl, here's what you're going to do. Nex is going to spawn in the arena and summon her 4 minions: Fumus, Umbra, Crew War, and Glacies. While she's doing this, approach the center of the arena where she is and use Anticipate when she spawns Glacies. Immediately Smoke Cloud and chuck a Vulnerability Bomb at her, Fractured Staff of Armadyl spec, Tendril, and then improvise a rotation until she calls for Fumus while making sure you always have stun immunity up. Switch to your other style and DPS Fumus as fast as you can until he dies. This phase is the most simple and easy, as the only threat is if you get pulled to her, that's a stun. She should be at least 160k HP before she can do her no escape special attacks, so that's not really a threat at all. If that does end up happening, just don't stand in the middle of the arena, and you'll be fine. Now, if you don't have a Fractured Staff of Armadyl, Nex is gonna go the same way roughly. Approach the center of the arena, Anticipate, Smoke Cloud, chuck a Vulnerability Bomb, and then G-Conk Wild Magic, G-Staff, and then G-Conk Asphyxiate until she hits 160k. And if she doesn't hit 160k, then improvise until she hits that mark. And then do the same thing. The important part, the most important thing, is that you do not get stunned, because if you get stunned, she will take off your overhead, and you can't put it back immediately. And that means she's going to have a very good opportunity to deal a lot of damage to you. So, going into phase 2, switch back to your magic setup and turn on Soul Split, as her first attack will always, always, always be Embrace Darkness, so you can build a little bit of health back during this bit of the fight, because she doesn't use auto attacks. When she punches the ground and says Fear the Shadow, move out of the way, and then check to see if she's about to do the same attack again. If she doesn't, just put up deflect range, and then DPS her down until she hits 120k, and nuke the living hell out of Umbra. This phase isn't really a threat, because as long as you're constantly moving out of the way of her shadow attacks, she can never kill you. And she doesn't deal all that much damage as long as you put up deflect range. So you should be fine. Now, phase 3 is where things get a little bit more challenging. This is where the fight can actually get difficult. But with a little bit of patience, it can be cleared with relative ease. Switch back to your mage gear, Smoke Cloud, and check another Vulnerability Bomb at her, put up Deflect Magic, and then wait for her to finish her Siphon Dance before actually attacking her, or else she'll heal any of the damage you deal. You don't want to attack her while she's doing her Siphon Dance. So when she finishes this dance, FSOA Spec and Tendril, and then improvise a rotation until she dies. Or until she hits 80k. If you're having troubles, you can kill a Blood Reaver during her Siphon Dance. There's plenty of time to do so, and that'll reduce the amount of HP that she heals when she dances. And do not ever use any bleeds, no combust, no corruption blast, no corruption shot, none of that. Don't use those. She will heal if you use them. Now, with Crew War, it's actually safer to take a little bit of time to build up a little bit more adrenaline before you start the next phase, because the sooner you nuke phase 4, the better. But we'll talk about that in a second. So, if you don't have a Fractured Staff, phase 3 is going to work a lot like phase 1. You're going to Smoke Cloud and check another Vulnerability Bomb, put up Deflect Magic, and then wait for her to finish her Siphon Dance before actually attacking her, because again, if you attack her too soon, she'll start healing. When she finishes her dance, G-Conk and Asphyxiate, and then G-Conk Wild Magic, G-Staff Spec, and then G-Staff again, and then G-Conk and Improvise until she phases. As long as you do the rotation somewhat correctly, she'll die. Now, here is the deadliest part of the whole fight. So starting phase 4, switch back to your mage gear, Anticipate, and eat to full HP, and make sure that you keep your health high, because if you don't, she has a very high likelihood of actually killing you. Make sure that you keep your prayer at least above 400 prayer points. If it dips below that, don't worry too much unless it hits 100, because she can and does smite you during this phase. Now, depending on how fast you did phase 3, she'll either start with Contain This, if she didn't get a second Siphon Dance off, or she'll start with the Prison of Ice special attack, if she did get a second Siphon. If she starts with Prison of Ice, then make sure that you're at full HP. You can Reprisal during this point, because it'll deal a little bit of damage to her when Reprisal ends. And just make sure that if you have a Vitality Pot, you use it, because she's going to deal a lot of damage, and there's a good, decent potential for her to stack you out here. Now, when the Prison of Ice ends, nuke her. Nuke her as fast as you can, and then kill Glacies as fast as you can, because the longer you spend in phase 4, the more damage you're going to take. And it is going to hurt a lot. Starting with phase 5, if you have an FSOA, you're going to start off with Insight Fear, you're going to Smoke Cloud and Vuln Bomb her, and then build to 100% Adrenaline, and then do just a normal Fractured Staff rotation without Sunshine. She's hit capped here, so like the most you're going to deal with magic is maybe like a 3000 with a very big hit. It's generally not worth using Sunshine because it just wastes Adrenaline. But anyways, just do a normal Fractured Staff rotation until she dies, and you should be good to go. If you don't have a Fractured Staff of Armadillo, you just Smoke Cloud and Vuln and then improvise your best damage rotation until she's dead. It doesn't... Phase 5, she deals a lot of damage, especially if she drops your prayer, but she's not as much of a threat as phase 4. It's like the most free part of the fight. Now, as you can see, Nex is not a friendly or easy boss to use magic at, and generally speaking, it'd be better to use any other style, but it's possible to use magic, and it's kind of fun for those who want a challenge or want a unique way to torture themselves. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if not, that's fine. I'm not expecting this video to perform well, but I was asked to make it, so I did. Also, I know I didn't cover Igneous Omnipower, so to address that, you end up using it during phase 2, 4, and 5 to nuke her as quickly as possible. So yes, it's very good, but it's also very risky, because if you use it and she puts up Deflect Magic, it's probably going to kill you. So with that said, I hope you have a good day. Thank you for watching.